Chup. Um,
So
Unfortunately, it leads us to having Lopey and Billy on camera.
six of spades, and a bird's paradise. Um, so the thing here is Billy is going to
Turn one Glistener Elf. Can't hope for a better opening than that.
Billy's going to have to play around the removal of Grendell here. So he's got a lot of bolts, paths, helix,
Helixes?
helixes.
Helices?
I think it's just helixes.
I hope it's helices.
It'd be
It sounds
nice.
way
It'd
cooler.
be yeah, concur.
Alright, another bolt here is going to seal the deal.
You think? You don't think there's a game after that?
Probably not.
These Infect decks can come from behind with, like if they don't draw creatures over a long period of time and like you just don't kill them fast enough,
Sure.
they can cast an Ink Moth and just beat you.
Yeah,
And just
absolutely.
play an Ink Moth, fire it up one turn, and you're just like, all right, here's randomly 10 damage. Ooh. Ooh, so Lopi left the damage on the table. He realized his error as he proceeded through the turn. But we're gonna have we're resolving an Eldritch evolution here.
We're resolving a Blood Moon.
Yeah. This 4/4 elemental token. This Magus of the Moon's very good here. It turned off 100% of Billy's lands.
And 100% of Billy's spells.
Yeah, you can't make appropriate colored mana, you can't cast appropriate spells.
So with Billy knowing what's in Lopey's deck, I guess he would have had to fetch an island if he was going to fetch anything, like a basic there.
Right. So Lopi's gonna attack for 7. Oh man.
Billy's content to lose this game, it seems.
Yeah, why not?
6, 7, 8, 9, 10,
Yep.
To the moon!
Yeah, you have Magus of the Moon.
Billy Slayer.
So you saw the power of an Eldritch evolution there. This was a card that people were very excited about when that set came out,
Yeah.
but it never like nestled into a home. I think there was a lot of people who were missing their birthing pods, and the birthing pods.
Yeah, man.
Eldritch evolution is not a birthing pod.
They got my 7.
Correct. It's a pretty close approximation. At least the closest that we can get without having banned cards in our library.
Yeah, I learned this lesson.
Concur.
And there's some interesting play to it. I play tested a couple decks with it in standard,
Uh-huh.
but the problem is that Spell Queller is such a huge blowout.
Oh, sure. Really suppressed a card with an additional cost of sacking a creature.
Right.
Just not where you want to be.
No.
I was pretty stoked on potentially Matter Reshapering into Reality Smasher with Eldritch Evolution.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
then you just get the replacement permanent or whatever off the top. Card in hand at the least.
Valentine, 26 days.
But yeah, that deck never materialized.
Right. So the interesting thing about Eldritch Evolution is that when you successfully cast it, you automatically have sorcery creature in your yard when it resolves.
Uh-huh.
So it feeds into Delirium pretty well.
Sure.
So if you sack like Pilgrim's Eye into Ishkana,
Oh, wow.
yeah, you get some interesting plays like that. But it just doesn't always pan out that way. We got somebody flexing in the background. Look at this guy flexing back here.
He is really feeling himself.
Yeah, he was.
Literally and figuratively.
There it is. Oh yeah.
If they win the World fucking Series, man, Adam Olsen's brother's birthday will just be
Look at this guy.
games for. Look
MMA champion pink shirt back there.
That was the big chip leader there after that night of. What? It's 50 times 5.
Billy and Lopey gabbing here. I wish
Gabbing it
Lopey
up.
would move out of the way so we could see this guy in the background.
This guy giving it the business. Now
Jake, can you have Lopey move?
Yeah, 50 times 5 is whatever. 50 times 12.
I mean, I can't claim I've never been at the gym and like gotten a good chest workout in and that, like, you know,
Sure.
feeling my pump, but like to do it in the middle of the game store, I've only done that one time.
Yeah.
And it was gratuitous and unnecessary.
When you ran out in the rain?
Yeah.
That was very gratuitous and very unnecessary.
It kept my shirt dry though. I hate that when you get your shirt wet in the rain and then you gotta sit and like be wet for the rest of the night.
Yeah. It's the worst.
Alright, here's game 2.
As opposed to having your chest wet and having your shirt over it, which leaves your shirt completely dry. Don't look at me like that. All right, Infect on the play.
Infect on the play.
Billy Comminos.
Billy Comminos. He's thinking hard about this 7.
Turn 1. Noble Hierarch is pretty solid.
He's gonna get a basic here. Man, look at these openings. Fetching into Hierarchs. It's the whole game.
I think Billy's Hierarch's a little bit better.
Yeah, it's interesting. Exalted's one of those mechanics that's very straddly because like it wants you to only attack with one creature. But
Did you say straddly?
well, you're straddling the line between aggression and defensive.
Okay.
So it wants you to only attack with one creature, but in that situation, like, you didn't want to be the blocker.
No, you definitely want to be the attacker.
Yeah. Billy going to 15 to play the Dismember here, that's a lot.
No, that's totally reasonable.
Is it against the deck where you know every turn's a creature?
Oh, yeah. Because it gets him farther away from the turns where every turn is 2 creatures.
Yep. So he goes to 3 poison here, and now he's just within range.
Yeah.
Because if he attacks for another 3 and then a Vines of the Vastwood, he's just dead.
Yeah. Doesn't have Vines mana up for pump, but any number of pump spells can do it here.
This Infect deck gained a lot with Blossoming
Blossoming
defenses.
defense, yeah.
It's
Ooh, another land.
it's a Vines that's just like on a different level. Costs a green, gives less pump, but still the important hexproof. That's the critical part of that card.
It's a really dumb looking shield. I think that's the critical part of the card. It's a very colorful card. but
Yeah.
that shield just looks dumb.
Well, I think when you're in Kaladesh, you can't make anything look ordinary. I think making something look ordinary is just like it's against the rules.
All right, so another 3. So this is if he has a card like Blossoming Defense, this is a really good attack
Right?
because it forces Lopey to play the removal spell. He can't respond to anything.
Mm-hmm.
But now he's at 6 poison. He gets an extra turn, and then next turn he has to proactively use his removal spell.
Right, and the Blossoming Defense is very good. Interesting. So Billy had the Vines and showed the patience to not go for it.
Yeah.
Great play.
What is he at now? Take 7?
All right, so Lopey needs another removal spell here.
Yep, definitely needs a path or
Drew a
we're headed to
creature.
game 3. And there's the Knight of the Reliquary.
Doesn't want to reveal the other card.
Any second removal spell. Or Magus. The moon. Trying to get you there too. Dude, I can't beat moons. Doesn't matter if I have both spells or anything.
Let's get back to this guy flexing in the background.
Is he still flexing, or is he just back to playing his board games?
I think he's playing his board games, and he's on his phone right now.
GameSwap Mason has a fantastic selection of board games, Magic singles, video games. It's really
Men
just
flexing. Pretty good selection of those.
really. It's literally the second person I've seen flexing, myself being the first.
Hey, Jake, ask Lopey to flex for us. Lopey has ignored Jake's request.
Perfect. No, it's
To be fair, it's Taylor and John Douglas back there. So like,
we're getting roundly mocked for our
alright. Kill me dead. Magus of the moon. Likely.
All right. Billy is looking forward to a Magus of the Moon coming down early.
I think it'll lightning from that last game. Actually, yeah, maybe I should have just gotten a forest. But I needed the bolt. I needed the bolt first, so I could bolt your guy during the combat, so you can do it. They also had blue. They also had blue-red versus John. I mean, they're just slipping.
Yeah, but that would have been somebody that was just on camera.
Who cares? It has to be how they figured it out. Billy and I weren't on camera, and all the other guys were. Except for Farrell.
yeah. That is the thought process. We're trying to show you guys a variety of players
And a variety of decks.
and a variety of decks. We had 2 Jund decks. We didn't want to repeat a blue deck. I'm kind of hoping that we at some point get this multicolored Planeswalker deck on.
Okay.
It's like a Tron deck that plays Oath of Nissa to create to be able to play a bunch of different kind of Planeswalkers.
Oh, that's interesting. Karn wasn't good enough. We need all the Planeswalkers.
Well, I think he's fine with casting Karn too.
Okay.
So you notice that Lopey's just very aggressive with his life total here because it doesn't matter. Billy's going to kill him with poison damage, not damage.
It can actually matter. I have definitely seen Infect win off of like a Noble Hierarch beats.
Yeah,
before.
just like a backdoor, like attack Noble Hierarch, no blocks.
Here's
pump it,
like a
binds
million
it.
pump spells, yeah.
Sure. So it can matter, but you'd much rather have the flexibility of being able to. Ooh. You notice that basic on Grendell's side?
Oh yeah.
Is that a little telegraph there, or do you think he would have just slammed it on turn 2?
He would have just slammed it. Like it shuts Billy's deck down. I mean, he's certainly playing around the eventual Magus of the Moon.
Right. Yeah, watching this Infect deck, you see how fast the format is. There's not the actually phase. You see how fast the format is.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a turn 3 or 4 format.
Then I'm gonna fetch and get Magus of the Moon. Forest. There's this. Since this guy gets this guy.
And there it is.
There's Magus of the Moon.
Pretty good board map.
There it is. Make sure we
Make
didn't.
sure we didn't
make,
board him out.
Make sure we didn't put him in the sideboard.
All right, so we've got some mountains.
Got some good mountains there. There's another mountain. And Billy doesn't have any red spells or artifacts in hand.
Does not.
So.
He needs to draw a basic forest here. All right.
Yep, he's not gonna do that.
Just scooping it up.
Yeah. Format is super quick. As you can see, I mean, you live or die by.
Intriguing thing here is that like you're gonna get hit for.
So Infect is very much an all-in linear combo deck.
Right.
Um, you can't really judge the format based on the speed of Infect because Infect wins or loses very quickly. There's very little interaction.
Right, but I think you have to be ready for that deck. It's
Oh,
definitely not a
absolutely.
deck you can be cold to.
Absolutely. I'm just saying it's not fair to judge like the speed of the format on one deck. I mean, certainly it is a fast deck.
Well, much like women judge me by unfair things, I'm going to judge the format by the fastest decks.
All right, well you do that.
And next round